Section B just has a single problem, but it's a word problem, so it's always a little bit tougher. But it's really very similar to the last set of word problems. So we're given this function. So if we notice in that function, we have to first find the period. So 2 pi divided by pi over 6 is 12. All right. Notice T is the number of hours after midnight. So that kind of makes sense. Our amplitude is 3. So we're going to go up 3, down 3. After 4 hash marks, we're at 12. We need another 4 to get to 24. So sine starts at 0, up to 3, back to 0, down to -3, back to 0, and it repeats. Does it make sense? In a 24-hour period, you have in the morning and in the afternoon, it repeats itself back to so every 12 hours it's repeating itself. And that's for tides, the height of the tide. All right, so this is letter A. Then we're just going to answer some questions. High tide, what's the maximum height? All right, so we can see the maximum height occurs here and here. This is midnight. So this is 6 hours. So this is 3 hours after midnight. And this is going to be 3 hours after noon. So we have 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. is when the high tide occurs. And what's the height? 3 meters. So this is when it occurs and what the height is. All right, letter C. What's the height of the tide at 2 p.m.? Now be careful, your instinct is to use 2, but p.m., that's over here. All right, so that's 14 hours after midnight. Now we're going to get the same value as 2. So we're just going to plug it in. And if you can just plug that in your calculator, and it's 2.60. And that's going to be meters. Always try to make sure you're labeling. All right, so letter D is at least 2 meters above sea level. So notice that's right through here. So we're looking for this time period. So this is where we want to set our height equal to 2. So what you can do is graph this on the interval they give you, 0 to 24, on your calculator, and set y2 equal to 2, this 2 here, and just find where they intersect. So that part's not terrible. Make sure you're in radians. So we get 4 answers, right? We get this one, this one, this one, and this one. All right, so I get my t values. These are the 4 intersection points you'd find using your calculator. Now we have to be careful. They actually, does this make sense for time? T is the number of hours after midnight. So we have to find the corresponding time. Now, this is 39 hundredths. So what I would do, this is 1 hour and 39 hundredths after midnight. So take your decimal 0.39, multiply by 60 minutes, and you get 1:23 a.m. Then we're going to do the same here. Take your decimal 0.61 times 60, and you get 437. So they can cross any time between this time period. Then we're going to do the same thing for the 13 and the 16. It just ends up being the same, right? 1:23, it's just PM for both of them. And then we're done.